Today we are going to do the big reveal. I have my lab test and DEXA scan here ready with me. Let's look into the data and see what we can learn. From the DEXA scan, I lost 4 pounds of fat and gained 0.4 pounds of lean tissue. I actually lost more fat than when I did on water-only fast. So this is excellent news. It proves that my assumption was correct. A very small meal of mostly vegetables and beans can maintain the fast while protecting my body from losing muscle. I think the small muscle gain is just statistical fluctuation. I wouldn't take it very seriously. I lost 0.43 pounds of visceral fat. That is a 14% reduction. This leads to a dramatic reduction of waist to hip ratio from 1.38 to 1.27. This indicates a great reduction in chronic disease risk. So let's see if the math is mathing. 1 pound is 450 grams. So 4 pounds is 1800 grams. 1 gram of fat is 9 kcal. So 1800 grams of fat is 16,200 kcal. And 16,200 kcal over 7 days is loss of 2,314 kcal per day. So let's use a calorie calculator to see if it's all add up. I'm a 46-year-old male, 6'1", 210 pounds. I did hours and hours of Buddha ceremony, so I would consider it intense. The result is about 2,800 calories. So I'm supposed to use 2,800 kcal a day, and I ate a soup of 500 kcal a day. So the caloric deficit is 2,300 kcal a day. So the math is correct. Everything worked out as planned. So the DEXA scan result matches my strength testing at the gym. I did not lose any muscle. All the weight loss came from fat. Now let's look at the lab test result. As expected, all my lipid panel improved drastically. Total cholesterol, LDL, triglyceride dropped to normal healthy range. HDL dropped as well, but the overall ratio is better and healthier. Testosterone dropped slightly. It is expected during fasting. It should bump back up after eating. HA1C went up slightly to 6, but it measures 6-month average, so 7 days of fast should not affect it much. So this number is within expectation. What is surprising is that fasting insulin is actually very low, both before and after the fast. So I have low insulin resistance and metabolic risk. So in other words, my high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high blood lipid is not from insulin resistance. Because my insulin resistance is actually not high, that means the cause of all my problems is actually from stress. Looking back at the reaction I got when I started fasting, my blood sugar and my diastolic pressure actually went up. It's very counterintuitive. Usually they should come down. But for people with lots of stress, this is possible because stress hormone can elevate the blood pressure and the blood sugar. I don't think people like to admit that they have a lot of stress. I always think that other people have stress, but not me. But now I look at my own data, I have to admit that I have too much stress. In my clinical practice, I see a lot of people who exercise regularly, who eat healthy, but they still have metabolic issue, they still have digestive issues, they still have weight issue. So I now have to admit that I'm also one of them. I'm glad I did this self-experiment. With the new information, now I know that my biggest problem is stress. Now I will change the direction of my self-healing. I will be 100% focused on stress management. But I would still like to incorporate intermittent fasting into my strategy. Intermittent fasting is valuable because it helps me lose fat but not muscle. But I will do them in shorter duration so the stress does not build up on my body. I will also be eating more complex carbohydrate early in the day. I found out my insulin is actually low, so I don't have to be afraid of carbohydrate. Eating complex carbohydrate early in the morning can steady my blood sugar throughout the day. That can help me manage my stress hormone. I will also reduce the intensity of my exercises. I used to work out 4 days a week. I think that's too intensive, it's too stressful on my body, and it's counterproductive. I will be doing 3 workouts a week, and I will be doing leisurely walking in between those workouts. Dieting and exercise can be stressful on the body. I plan to give myself more regular acupuncture and herbal medicine. That way I can achieve more while reducing the stress. So if I implemented all these changes, I believe I can lose 1 pound of pure body fat each week. Let's do this for 10 weeks and see what happens. Follow me for more.